Hey guys, it's Brendan Borman. Welcome back to Devy Bros. Today I am with my brother, Brady Borman, the creator of DevyBoard.com, as we are going to do a 2026 through 2029 mock draft. It's a mixed draft featuring Devy players, so all the college players who are in the developmental stage. Hopefully we'll hit our taxi squads to our dynasty rosters, and of course the 2026 dynasty rookies. How are you doing today, Brady?
I'm well.
Awesome.
Excited.
Yes, well, thank you for creating this awesome source that we can use to do a mock draft for Devies and rookies. But let's just dive right in. We flipped a coin backstage, and I got the first pick. So I am going to take none other than Jeremiah Love at the 101, the outstanding running back from Notre Dame, game changer every time he touches the football. You know, I think you could probably go one of two directions, and I'll leave the second one up to you. Who do you taking, Brady?
Scared me. I thought I was going to get sniped on Jeremiah Smith.
Yes, Jeremiah Smith, of course, the outstanding wide receiver from The Ohio State University, has, of course, the young breakout age, has a chance to be the Devy 101 wire-to-wire in his class, which is not something that's been done since Bijan Robinson. So that puts me back up on the clock at 1-3, but actually, first, I'm going to go ahead and add a tier break here. So one of the cool features on DevyBoard.com is that you can actually add tier breaks while you're practicing for your Devy and rookie drafts. And would you agree that that's a tier?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we've got the first two players off the board, and then really it comes down to how do you want to roster construct. So we both play in a couple Devy leagues together where we do not co-own. We have different strategies. You actually hit on more players than I do, but I like to trade, and I think one of the most valuable assets at this point, especially in a 12-team Superflex tight end premium league, which is the settings we're doing for this draft, I'm going to take Arch Manning, quarterback from Texas, at the 1-3. He scared me last year with his value kind of going roller coaster up and down. Had some flashes, also did not fare well against some top defenses, but he has that Manning name. And again, if he makes it to the NFL, which I expect him to, he will get every opportunity to succeed. And I think taking the best asset available at 1-3 at this point is Arch Manning. Who do you have next, Brady?
I guess when life gives you lemons, you take Mekhi Lemon.
Okay, you like Mekhi Lemon ahead of those other wide receivers?
I like him ahead of Tyson and Tate, yeah.
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon, he's got definitely some big playability. He's got twitchiness. Does he have
Tough.
He is tough. Is there a player in the NFL that Lemon reminds you of?
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown's kind of been a trendy comparison for him lately. I see it a lot.
Yeah, and of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown did not get the draft capital, but has exceeded expectations in the NFL and really been a mainstay for our dynasty rosters. If Lemon can provide that, I think that's a good player to have on your roster. So again, we're kind of going back and forth. We've got some Devy players. We've got some 2026 prospects. I think you're going to see that throughout this process where it's a mixture. And again, we're acting as if we have 12 individual teams. So even though I've taken Arch Manning, that doesn't mean I can't take another quarterback. And at this point, I think I'm going to take Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from the University of Indiana, coming off his Heisman campaign. Mendoza really, he strikes me as someone who understands coverages. He can manipulate defenses. He has above average arm strength. I don't think he's going to run the ball at the next level the same way he did at Indiana, but he does have sneaky athleticism, and that, of course, is going to be good at the next level. But I kind of want to see where he fits with the coaching scheme and which team he falls to. It looks like it's going to probably be the Raiders at 101, but give me, in a Superflex league, Fernando Mendoza at the 1-5. You are back on the clock, Brady.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson, okay. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of Devy guys I love, but give me the guy who's actually in the NFL right now.
yes, so Jordan Tyson, again, he is going to be a 2026 prospect. He is a wide receiver for Arizona State, and I love Jordan Tyson. He was probably one of my most owned Devy guys last year. He did get hurt. He had some hamstring issues, and Sam Levitt, who was the quarterback for Arizona State, he did not look the same when Tyson was not out there. So I like the pick. I think that leaves me to take Carnell Tate at 1-7, the wide receiver from the Ohio State Buckeyes. When in doubt, just draft a wide receiver from Ohio State. That typically works in Devy. Tate seems like more of a safe play than an upside play at this point. I don't know if you agree with that or not, Brady. But
Yeah.
Tate, he did compete for receptions against people like Marvin Harrison Jr., against Jeremiah Smith, and he did get a pretty significant target share. So Colonel Tate can hold his own. I don't see him being like a true alpha. I kind of see him being more like a, for lack of a better analogy, Ohio State receiver Chris Olave type, which he was kind of in this range also in his rookie class. So again, taking a 2026 rookie, getting him on your rosters this year versus waiting for a Devy player, which brings you back up at 1-8.
I kind of think, is this a tier break?
Probably. I think you could argue one more 2026 player, but it's not a position of need.
That's fair.
But I'm going to go ahead. I like it. I'm going to add a tier break here because I think the player that I'm thinking of, he very easily could move up or down based off of the draft capital.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go Malachi Tony.
Ooh, interesting. So you took the position, I thought, but not the player. So let's go ahead and find Mr. Tony. There he is. Very good. So Malachi Tony, he is fast. Obviously made it all the way to the national championship game with the University of Miami and the Hurricanes last season. What impressed you with Tony's game that made you select him at the 1-8?
I mean, he just does it all. I mean, you can't tackle the guy. He's shifty. He just passes the eye test. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, and yards after catch, those are valuable.
I mean, he's right behind Jeremiah Smith when it comes to Devy assets to me.
That's a pretty bold take. I like it, though.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that what's his floor? Do you think he has do you think he could be a bust? I mean, or do you think he's pretty bust-proof?
I don't know. I just feel comfortable taking him right here.
Okay, that makes sense. I think in PPR leagues, he's definitely. I mean, I could see, like, I don't want to compare him to Wan'Dale Robinson because I think he's better than Wan'Dale Robinson, but I definitely could see a pretty big range of outcomes when it comes to Malachi Tony. But if you want him, I think you have to take him here. So very good pick. At the 1-9, I'm going to take the player that I thought you were going to take, and that is Omar Cooper Jr. from the University of Indiana. Omar Cooper Jr., kind of a late breakout. He's transferred a couple times, and really a big body possession receiver. Made some big plays. Fernando Mendoza, one of his favorite targets. And I will say, I'm kind of late to the game on Omar Cooper Jr. I did not know who he even was a year ago. But I think that I'm more comfortable taking him here in this range, in the late, kind of mid to late first, than I am if he sneaks up the draft board, kind of in that Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson range. I'm definitely going to pass and let someone else have him. So, 110, good sir.
I think there are a couple guys that have much higher ceilings than who I'm about to take, but give me the safe Denzel Boston. Should be a first-round pick this year, so I like it.
Yep, and again, you get him this year versus waiting another year. Yeah, Boston's another guy that I'm not quite sold on as a prospect. The NFL draft will tell us more in a little more than a month's time. But again, I definitely could see him going in this range. I think I'm going to take a stab here. There are quite a few Devy wide receivers that I like, but I'm going to go ahead and take the running back that I would like, and that is Bo Jackson. So Bo Jackson, running back from The Ohio State, arguably the Devy running back one currently in the community. You are going to have to wait quite a bit with Bo Jackson. And if you've played Devy for any length of time, Devy running backs do not always hit. I got lucky the second Devy running back I ever drafted was Bijan Robinson. The first running back I drafted was a guy named Journey Brown from Penn State. And like 2 weeks after I drafted him, he had a heart condition. He retired. So again, buyer beware with running backs. But I think that, Bo Jackson has a chance to be the guy. And I am buying high on him here. But if you want your guy, you kind of have to get him. And then with Devy leagues, throw ADP out the window. You have to get your guys when you want your guys.
Unless your guy is Zach Evans, and you take Zach Evans ahead of Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Speaking from history.
Yeah, speaking from buyer's remorse. I will take DeCorian Moore.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that pick a lot. DeCorian Moore, he was a freshman last year with the Oregon Ducks, and he has that just, you talk about passing the eye test, he makes plays that you go, who is that guy? Oh, that's DeCorian Moore. Like, as a freshman, he's blocking people down the field, throwing pancakes. He's just a true football player. But he is special with the ball in his hands. He was a 5-star recruit, and again, you're going to have to wait a little bit for him to come out, but I like to pick DeCorian Moore at the 112. So that brings us to the end of the first round. Were there any picks that surprised you?
Yeah, I'm not as high as Cooper. I mean, I'd rather have a couple other guys than Omar Cooper, but
yeah,
I can see it. So
yeah, no, I think the fact he's coming out this year is going to maybe put him ahead of some guys. But again, I think it speaks to the volume. We're going to see the second round, I think, is if you were in an actual draft, I would want to accumulate as many second-round picks as I could, because you're going to see a lot of Devy guys that go, wow, how is he still there? And if you can get 2 or 3 of those guys versus one Omar Cooper Jr., I'm sure you would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So you took DeCorian Moore at the 112, so the 2-1, I am going to go next. There are some really big Devy receivers on the board. I am going to hold off one more time, and I am going to take a player that probably will not go here. I say that because I think he's either going to get the draft capital and move up the board, or he's not going to get the draft capital and he's going to move down the board, and that is the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Ty Simpson, at the 2-1. So Simpson, he's someone that made some big plays last year in some critical SEC games. Against Missouri, he made a really good 4th down play that, miracle throw, had to put it in one spot only where his guy could get it, and he made the throw. He led lots of critical drives, but he also had some questionable turnovers in some big moments. Ty Simpson, again, I think one thing he has working in his favor is the 2026 quarterback class is very weak. And so if you do not get Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson's probably your only other bet to land a quarterback who could earn a starting job in the next 1 to 2 seasons. And so, again, I think if there's a quarterback-starving dynasty team, Ty Simpson at the 2-1 could make a lot of sense.
All right, I like it. I'm going to go hot take here. I think, we all know how loaded the 2027 class is. I'm going to go with a guy who I think could sneak into the top 2 pick next year, and that's Nick Marsh.
Nice. You sniped me. Very good. Yeah, Nick Marsh, of course, played last season at the University of Michigan State. He is transferring to Indiana, where he's going to continue to haunt Big Ten defenses. Nick Marsh does it all. He is a possession receiver, big play, physical, athleticism. Definitely checks a lot of boxes. And so we'll see if he continues to play at the same level in 2026 as he did in 2025. Good pick, Brady. I'm going to continue taking Devy wide receivers. And at this point, there are a couple guys that catch my eye. I'm going to take, since I'm drafting for the 1-3, and he drafted Arch Manning, I'm going to take his counterpart, and I'm going to take Cam Coleman at the 2-3. So Cam Coleman is transferring from the University of Auburn. He was given a lot of NIL money to hopefully score lots of touchdowns for Arch Manning. Cam Coleman is a freak, in a good way, athlete. He made big plays at Auburn despite some of the questionable quarterback play. And I think now that you have Arch and Steve Sarkisian in his system, I think you're going to manufacture Cam Coleman some touches in space, and I could see his value going up just like your pick of Nick Marsh.
All right. I like it. Good reasoning. It's always fun to just watch one team on Saturdays, too, and just root for your guys.
So he should hope that Ryan Wingo falls to 3-3.
He probably will. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go Dante Moore.
Okay.
All upside quarterback, potentially the 101 in the draft next year. Just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Potential 101 in the NFL draft next year. Interesting decision to stay at Oregon. I know sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a red flag if you stay longer than you should. Think about Nicholas Singleton or some of these other Devy guys that go, ooh, you should have probably gone to the draft. But Dante Moore, he has a lot of intangibles. I think the system has shown that it can produce, Bo Nix, an NFL quality quarterback. And Dante Moore, someone I'm not personally high on, but I do think even if you're not high on him, this is a fair price to pay. The 2-4, you have to wait 1 year. You get one of the top guys in college. You can watch him. And I think someone like Dante Moore, he's going to hold his value unless he just completely falls off the face of the earth. Garrett Nussmeier from last year. So a good pick at 2-4 with Dante Moore. At 2-5, I'm going to circle back to the Devy ranks. There's a couple 2026 prospects that have my eye here, but again, we're going through a kind of a run of Devy players, and I don't want to miss out. I'm going to take Ryan Williams here at the 2-5. Now, Ryan Williams is someone that I know I'm higher on than you are. He's always going to have that young breakout age on his resume. And he did play for Alabama. I think he and Ty Simpson had good rapport together. I do think one thing I don't like about Ryan Williams is he shows a lot of diva. He likes to complain he doesn't get the ball thrown his way. He has a little bit of Deshaun Jackson in him, where he's down and hurt every play, but he's actually not hurt. He's a tough guy, of course, but I don't know. There's some things to not love about Ryan Williams here, but at the value of where he was last year and the potential in that offense to rebound, I think I have to take him here at the 2-5.
Yeah, I mean, he was once a top 5 pick in this kind of draft.
Yep. 2-6.
Okay. Let's see. Looking at my options, man, I really liked Sadiq last year more than I like him now. But at this point, I got to take Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, that's a good pick. And I actually was debating on him at the 2-1 when I took Ty Simpson. But he's just one of those things. There's a high range of outcomes when it comes to these types of drafts.
He might go in the first round in some of the drafts you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kenyon Sadiq, and especially in a tight end premium league with his not just his pass catching, but his blocking, the ability to stay on the field, a lot longer than some other prospects, and his big play potential is going to give him some high upside. Now, tight ends are risky, and we've been really spoiled with people like Tyler Warren and Brock Bowers coming into the league right away and having that instant production. Sadiq might be a little bit slower to adjust depending on the system he goes into, but I think he's going to be a pro for a long time. And, outside of like Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, do you feel comfortable starting any tight ends in Dynasty? I mean, not really. So I think you could do a lot worse than Kenyon Sadiq. Good pick. I'm going to take my next pick here. I go back to the Devy ranks, and I'm going to plant a flag here on a guy drafted last year in Devy, traded away because I heard so many different channels talking about how unathletic he was, how unspecial he was, and yet he continued to throw the rock all around the field, make Ohio State look good, and that is Julian Sand. So Julian Sand, he does carry some risk because of his profile. He's not going to blow anyone away athletically, but he looked like a football player. He made good decisions. He did what he was supposed to do. He threw Jeremiah Smith the football. And so here at the 2-7, again, this is a super flex league. I'm going to take Julian Sayin.
All right. I'm just looking at the running backs for 2026. We've only taken Love. But, I mean, just to me, all these guys are the same player. And without knowing their landing spot, I'm not going to touch them. I mean, there's so many other people I'd rather have.
I think that makes sense. The NFL draft is going to tell us how they value these guys.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think I got my guy on Dallas Wilson, Florida receiver.
Yes, that's who my next pick was going to be. That's awesome. Good pick, Brady. Dallas Wilson at the 2-8. He was also a freshman last year, and he is someone who flashed immensely. He had several big plays, like long touchdown runs. And he's fast, he's athletic, and he gets away from DJ Lagway. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think it could be a bad thing because DJ Lagway likes to throw the ball to the other team. So hopefully his new quarterback will get him the ball and he can score lots of fantasy points. At the 2-9, that leaves me. I do have a couple young quarterbacks that I'm eyeing. I've got, you mentioned the 2026 running back class that's kind of a little bit lustlucker. I can't say that word. Lacking strength. So let me take a guy that I feel comfortable taking, and that is Eli Stowers. So Eli Stowers, again, you talked about Sadiq. I think I would rather have Sadiq at the 2-6 than Stowers at the 2-9, but I don't think they're all that different. I think they're both risky tight end prospects. They're both athletes. And Stowers is someone who he was a former quarterback. He was a former wide receiver, and now he's a tight end, so he knows a lot about different offensive schemes. He is a reception guy. He's going to catch a lot of balls, and I just like his athletic profile at the 2-9.
Somewhere in here, we probably could have a tier break. I mean, a lot of these guys are about the same value, which is complementary to your comment earlier about the hoarding second-round picks. A lot of value here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and take... let's do Mizzou's running back, Ahmad Hardy.
Yes, Hardy is a beast, and I quickly drafted Jaden Baugh right after that. So I will say Hardy first. He is someone who, when you watch on film, you're going to love Ahmad Hardy. He is a beast after contact. He led the SEC in rushing, and he's just a guy that when you watch, he is the definition of a football player. He wants the ball. He's going to never take a play off. I would like to see him catch the ball a little bit more out of the backfield. I think it's more of a scheme thing with Mizzou than it is like a weakness from Hardy. Plus, they have a two-headed backfield there, and Hardy doesn't always get all the touches, but he can handle a true workhorse. I mean, he's a 3-down potential back in the NFL. I love the pick. He might be my 2027 RB1. But I love Jaden Baugh also out of Florida. So he comes in for me at the 2-11. Again, he's someone who is going to get a larger workload this upcoming season. He does catch the ball in the backfield. He's just a dynamic back. I like the size and the speed combination for Baugh. And to me, I have Hardy and Baugh in the same tier together. So you took Hardy, I took Baugh. Made sense to me. But who do you have at the 2-12 to round out the second round?
Man, this is going to be Jacoby Lane.
Okay.
Going back to this year's receiver class.
Interesting. Jacoby Lane. So you must be higher on Lane than consensus. Is there something special you like about Lane?
I think he's going to be a touchdown machine at the next level.
Okay. Yeah, and he obviously had to compete for touches with his college teammate, Mekhi Lemon. But Lane has the athleticism to be that red zone threat that you're mentioning. It'll be interesting to see where he lands, if he's the day two prospect in the NFL, or if he goes a little bit later or earlier than that. But yeah, that rounds out the second round. I asked the question about the first round. You want to ask me a question about the second round, Brady?
Yeah, I don't love the stay-in pick. There's just so many other quarterbacks in Devy that are about that value.
Yeah.
What separates him from other Devy quarterbacks in that range? Why'd you pick him over?
That's a good question. So I picked Sayin. Again, get your guys. He's one player that I don't have any more shares of currently right now. So if this was a real league and it was like a tiebreaker, I would lean that route. I think I don't want to wait on someone like Bryce Underwood for much longer. Some of the older prospects like a Sam Levitt or the Brendan Sorsby. I don't know. I decided to go with Sayin there. There's another couple quarterbacks I'm eyeing this next round. We'll see how it goes, but no, I think like you said, he might be a reach in terms of value, but you have to grab the guys you want when you want them. So good question.
Agreed.
All right, moving on to the 3-1, which is me again. And so this owner has Jeremiah Love, Ty Simpson, and he's going to complete his team with another wide receiver. He is going to take Bryant Wesco Jr. at the 3-1. Wesco, he definitely had high expectations going into 2025. Of course, had Cade Klubnik as his quarterback, TJ Moore, Antonio Williams, powerful trio of wide receivers at Clemson. Wesco is the guy that I think showed the most on film. Unfortunately, he did suffer a pretty scary injury. It's been good to see him back on the field this spring. But again, he's going to have to show that he is healthy to NFL owners before they take potentially Wesco in the 2027 NFL draft.
I like it. I like Wesco a lot. Basically, just tell him to go deep and you get your touchdowns. Let's see. All right, I'm going to take a stab at some of these running backs. I actually like Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska more than the average person. He's actually my RB2 this class.
Well, this is tremendous value on a 2026 prospect that could go in the first round. I did a video on the channel yesterday mocking the 2026 class only, and Emmett Johnson was a first-round pick for me in that mock. So getting him here at the 3-2 is a testament to how talent can fall down the board, especially in Devy drafts.
And knowing your league mates and their tendencies to reach on Devy players out of excitement.
Yes, and that does happen quite a bit, especially for players who are newer to Devy, which Devy is a very niche game, and we hope more people play it, but you kind of have to live and learn. Learn from your mistakes. So good pick at the 3-2. Again, I spoke it into existence, and the owner at the 1-3, he is a Texas Longhorns fan apparently. He is going to take Ryan Wingo at the 3-3. So that will give him Arch Manning, Cam Coleman, and Wingo. If I can find him on this list. There he is. That's one of the cool things about DevyBoard.com. You get to see their pictures pop up. He's got that big, beautiful smile. He's excited to be drafted to Team 1-3.
Yeah. I want to go with I think it's our first 2029 prospect, but Savion Hitter. I think he committed to Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I am familiar. He is a running back. I need to do some more scouting on the 2029 class, but he is pretty much a consensus top 3, top 5 pick in the 2029 class. And again, it depends on where you get your information from. A lot of people look at 24/7 Sports and their rankings of prospects, and that's one tip I would give to all Devy players is look at the rankings and kind of be aware of it, but you can use those rankings to your advantage. If there's a guy you like more that's not the top, just wait until the top guy's gone before you even consider those guys, because you don't want to reach too much on a guy that you love. Very good pick. So at the 3-5, I am going to consider. You know what? There is a wide receiver that I absolutely love. That
I can't believe he hasn't gone yet. I was about to take him.
You think so?
Yeah. Is this your?
This is my one of my favorite players. I'm on 2029. That's why. Sorry, I got to figure out how to get to Andrew Marsh.
Andrew Marsh.
Yeah, you got him. So, again, man, if I was this team at the 1-5 and I got Mendoza, Ryan Williams, and Marsh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good upside. Now, will they all hit? Probably not. But Andrew Marsh, I tell you, I did not watch Michigan a ton, but I was intrigued about Bryce Underwood, and I got to watch Andrew Marsh bail Bryce Underwood out on a few throws where, Underwood did take some strides at the end of last season. I don't want to dog him too much, but Marsh just has that special it factor that, I honestly considered taking him way earlier. I just kept finding guys that I wanted to hit draft on first. But Marsh, I'm going to be excited to see how his game translates next season. Your turn, Brady.
So I took Dallas Wilson much earlier than his compadre here. Vernell Brown actually put up the better stats. Mainly Dallas Wilson was injured, but they both look elite and will be playing on Sundays. So give me Vernell Brown.
Yes, and I am looking for which class is he in using this tool here. He was
a freshman last year.
So he's 2028. Yeah, there he is. Yep, got him. Very good. So we've got
Florida had like 4 top receiver recruits last year. They couldn't all see the field, but Brown sure did.
You know who else couldn't see the field? DJ Lagway.
Right.
No, all good. Sorry, and I like DJ Lagway. I have him in a few leagues. If anyone wants to buy him, he's really, really good. He's so good. He's already been drafted in this league. Oh wait, just kidding. At the 3-7, so this player has taken Ohio State, Carnell Tate, and Julian Sand. I am going to buck that trend just a little bit, and I am going to eye another quarterback who I think has some upside. We've mentioned Underwood, but I'm going to take a guy from the University of Cal. He is left-handed. I do not want to pronounce his whole name, so I'm just going to say JKS. But he had some late-night magic out on the West Coast, throwing for 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. They run an offense where he's going to have to show me a lot more as far as progression goes. He has a lot of hot routes, quick screens, but he does have a good arm. He throws the ball where his receiver can get it. And I was really encouraged. I watched the bowl game where he played against Hawaii, and I thought he performed pretty good in that game. So I'm going to move him up here to the 3-7.
All right. I'm going to just go, hopefully, with a guy that I'm assuming to be a PPR kind of guy, and that's Casey Concepcion.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Who's had an up-and-down Devy career. A couple years ago was high, then he kind of fell off, then he kind of came back.
Yeah, and I think
kind of reminds me of a Parker Washington kind of career path so far.
Well, that's very encouraging. Said no one ever. But no, I think Concepcion, he's got a little bit more twitchiness. In today's NFL, you have to be able to get open. Even someone like Tank Dell, who is like the tiniest guy in the world, was really successful for fantasy with the Houston Texans because he was able to get immense separation. And I think Casey Concepcion has that same twitchiness. I don't know if his average depth of target is ADOT's going to be, something that's fantasy viable. But again, you mentioned PPR league at this range of the 3-8. Especially you get him now, you have to wait. And in some leagues, your Devy players have to sit on a taxi squad. This potentially could be a really good pick at the 3-8. So I like it. I am also going to stick with the 2026 class, and I'm going to take another receiver, Jeremy Bernard. Bernard is someone that I was not as high on a year ago. I think that, I don't know, I think people were overhyping him, but he makes big plays when Alabama needed him to make big plays. And he really, to me, filled in the gap that I was expecting Ryan Williams to do. So I came away, basically, I think that he will make a 53-man roster. He probably will never be an alpha. But again, if you get a guy that contributes to your dynasty roster and you get him for a couple years, sign me up with a 3-9.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Because, if I saw in my trade inbox Ryan Williams for Bernard straight up, I would rather have Bernard, which is funny because Williams was taken 15 picks ago. So that just kind of shows you how, the parity of these picks in this range.
For sure.
I think, I'm with you. Bernard's never going to be a top 20 receiver. I mean, could he be a good number 2 for a long time? I think so, yeah. So if you're in a 12-man league, 14, I like Bernard.
Instead of lighting your pick on fire by drafting a Devy guy who will never make it.
Yeah. Okay, I think I want to stick with 2026 people here. Let me go with Chris Bell out of Louisville and hope his ACL is fixed.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to show he's healthy, but ACL injuries have a good track record of being something that receivers can overcome. Chris Bell, definitely the Bell I prefer over Skylar Bell, but to me that didn't say a whole lot. Good pick, 310. I'm going to take another Devy at the 311, and I am going to go with, again, talking about lighting picks on fire. I'm pretty good at that. 2027 class, I'm going to take, if I can find him here. Unless we already took him. We didn't take Lenora Sellers already. There he is.
No, he's still there.
Okay, I'm going to take Lenora Sellers at the 311. Again, do I think Lenora Sellers is ever going to rebound his value to where he was? Probably not. Is he probably Anthony Richardson 2.0 or worse? Maybe. But at the 311, I would have to argue there's not very many players with the upside that Lenora Sellers has athletically. And again, the NFL has showed us time and time again that they will give these players an opportunity. It's just, how long is his leash? And, we watched Anthony Richardson get, basically bench himself, and then he may not have an opportunity. Sellers, he's going to have, the more college reps he gets, the better off. And I do think for him, it was a good thing that he went back to school. I think he could have transferred going back to South Carolina. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for his value. But, again, I'm willing to invest, again, one more shot here at the 311 just to see what I have in Lenora Sellers.
So with Sellers, what's interesting, it's all about value, like you said. We can speculate all we want about their production in the NFL when it comes to it. But, Arch Manning had a bad start to his career or year last year. So did Lagway. Lagway never recovered in value, but Arch did. So these guys just have extreme flux.
Yeah, volatility for sure.
Yeah, so sometimes, again, you got to take the guys you like. I'm going to go with – I'm torn between two running backs, but I think I'm going to go Florida State Chroma.
Yes.
Just a run into a wall type of guy.
Run through two walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a 2028 prospect. He was a freshman last year, and he did get on the field quite a bit. I have to find where his – there he is. Okay. Beautiful. So there's our entire draft board. So no, Chroma, I think he was a 4-star or 5-star, depending on the services that you look at last year. But when you look at that class, Gideon Davidson, Shakai Knight, Mills Knight, Chroma, I think Chroma showed the most on the field. He definitely catches the ball also. I think he potentially very easily could be the number one running back in the 2028 class. Gonna have to see how that pans out. Were there any players that you're surprised went undrafted in this draft?
Oh, absolutely.
You want to
Let's
wrap?
see. I'm looking like Quan Lacey. I mean, that's somebody's getting a steal in the 4th round. TJ Moore didn't go drafted. A lot of 2029 guys, if you're willing to wait. I mean, Tristan Keys, Chris Henry Jr., Nate Frazier didn't go drafted. Alvin Henderson. Oh, my goodness. I mean, Isaac Brown.
Yeah, Justice Haynes. Jadarian Price is someone that probably should have gotten drafted with the 2026, getting them, for, way sooner. And then
Donovan Olubade.
Yeah, Chris Brazel from Tennessee. That's someone that I'm not a big fan on, but I've definitely seen him in the community go, in a range of a lot of these players. So it just goes to show you that there are quite a few guys out there, and if you are going to move up, think twice, because there are guys maybe as talented or even more talented that could fall. So these are always fun to do. Brady, it was great to have you join us together as a team for the first time.
One thing I want to point out, how many running backs of 2026 were taken? We didn't even take Price, the Notre Dame, behind Love. Did we take 3 running backs?
I think we took 2. I think you took Emmett Johnson and we took Jeremiah Love, and I think that was it.
Yeah, I mean, that just kind of shows you how much we don't value running backs in this class.
And if we don't value running backs and we don't value quarterbacks, it's going to be pretty receiver heavy, and that's fine. But what happens if Jordan Tyson continues to be injured, Malachi Lemon or one of Lemon or Cooper, or they flame out? We could be talking about a pretty bad class.
Right.
As a follow-up, at what pick number? I know we had like 1-7 as a tier break. Is there in a normal, let's say it's a dynasty draft, not a rookie, not a Devy, just a dynasty draft. Is there a draft pick where you would re-roll to 2027, just any random 2027 first? Like if you had like the 110, the one.
So I think I understand the question. I would rather have a 2027 random first than a 1/6 from this class.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, so the first 5 picks maybe you would keep, but the 6th pick you would send off for a 27 first.
I might even go down to 4. I mean, give me the 3 receivers and Mendoza, I guess. So well, then Love, obviously, but so.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. Well, thank you for joining, Brady, and together we are the Devy Bros. I hope everyone has enjoyed this video. If you do, please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you have a suggestion for what video you would like to see next, or if we really screwed this up and we forgot somebody, or you're really high on a player, let us know in the comments and we will interact with you. As always, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.